Women behave differently around men they find attractive, and that isn't controversial. What's interesting is that the difference is almost never the thing men are watching for. Most men are scanning for the obvious signal, the clear compliment, the unmistakable green light. And while they wait for that, 4 or 5 other signals have already been sent, received by nobody, and quietly withdrawn. Communication researcher Jeffrey Hall spent years studying this and found something useful. People don't flirt in one universal language. They flirt in 5 distinct styles: physical, sincere, polite, playful, and traditional. And here's why that matters more than any list of signs she likes you've ever seen. If you only know how to read one style, you will misread 4 out of 5 women, not occasionally but systematically, concluding she isn't interested when she's been signaling clearly the entire time in a dialect you never learned. So let's go through all 5, what each looks like, what's happening underneath it, and the part almost nobody includes, how confident you should actually be about any of it, because I'd rather you leave this accurate than leave it certain. Start with physical flirting, the style most men think they already understand and don't because they're reading the wrong channel. Picture the moment. She's laughing, the mood is light, and she makes some small movement with her hands, and every dating video on the internet tells you to read that gesture as interest. But often the gesture is doing the opposite job. Hand-to-face movements, covering the mouth mid-law, small fidgeting motions, frequently function as concealment, an unconscious attempt to manage a reaction rather than broadcast one. The real signal was the thing that happened just before it, the smile that arrived without any effort at all, the involuntary one, the one she didn't choose. And there's a plausible reason we hide feelings rather than display them. For most of human history, openly signaling desire carried real social risk, because rejection wasn't just personal, it could cost you standing in a group you depended on for survival. So the instinct to mask interest even while feeling it is old, and it hasn't gone anywhere, which produces the pattern you can actually observe. The more genuinely someone is affected, the more likely they are to try to cover it. Interest and concealment show up in the same moment. That's not a contradiction, that's the tell. Then there's the gesture people call doe eyes. The head drops slightly and turned to one side, chin lowered, eyes raised. The effect is real and easy to notice. It softens the face and reads as openness rather than challenge, and you'll see it constantly once you know to look. Now, you'll find claims online that this posture measurably shifts testosterone in men who see it, and I'm going to be straight with you. That research is thin, the effect sizes are small, and it's been stretched well past what the studies support. I'm not going to sell you a hormone story to make a point land harder. Here's what you can say safely. A lowered, tilted head reads as non-threatening and approachable, and men reliably report finding it appealing. That's enough. The voice has better evidence behind it, and it's not consistent in one direction, which is exactly what makes it interesting. In lively, social, public moments, pitch tends to rise, brighter, lighter, more animated. When the setting turns private, closer, quieter, fewer people, the same voice can drop into something slower and warmer. And the shift itself is the signal. Watch for the moment the register changes as the context changes. Someone speaking in a bright social voice who drops into something quieter the second the conversation becomes one-on-one, has just told you something without saying a word, and a minute later, the group returns and the bright voice comes straight back. You're not listening for a pitch, you're listening for a switch. You'll also hear that women exaggerate their walk around attractive men, and honestly, that's the weakest claim in this whole section. Popular because it sounds evolutionary and cinematic, thin on actual evidence. Don't build any read on someone's walk. The second style is sincere flirting, about creating genuine emotional connection. And the interesting part is what people do before they're willing to admit any feeling at all. The mind isn't built to declare attraction immediately, so instead it does something indirect. It starts presenting the version of you it thinks will be liked back. Several studies have found that people tend to make lighter or healthier food choices when an attractive person is present, particularly on a first meeting. Though fair warning, these studies are small, mostly Western university samples, and food behavior is tangled up with a dozen other things, so treat it as a curiosity, not a diagnostic. If someone orders a salad, they might just want a salad. situations, people also often become visibly warmer toward everyone around them. More helpful, more patient, more careful about voicing negative reactions. One evolutionary reading is that this signals suitability for a long-term partnership. Reading is plausible and unproven. What's observable is simpler. People display the traits they believe the other person values, which isn't manipulation. It's ordinary self-presentation, and everyone does it. Field experiments where men tried to persuade women of something, attractive men had a measurably easier time gaining agreement. But here's the part worth sitting with, because it cuts against your ego. Doesn't necessarily mean she's agreeing because she's attracted. Attractive people receive more social cooperation across the board, from strangers, employers, teachers, everyone. That effect is well documented and it isn't romantic. So if she agrees with you easily, that could be interest, or it could just be the general social discount attractive people receive. Don't overread it. The third style is polite flirting, the most misread of the five, and where most men give up too early. And let me correct something, because this gets described wrongly almost everywhere online. Polite flirting doesn't mean playing games or acting cold. It means approaching attraction cautiously and correctly, not wanting to seem forward, not wanting to make anyone uncomfortable, waiting for clear permission before escalating anything. But the effect of that caution, from the outside, looks almost identical to disinterest, which is exactly the problem. Picture an exchange where she's already privately decided she's attracted to him. He asks what her favorite place around here is. She says honestly, she doesn't go out much. Communication expert Vanessa Van Edwards calls that kind of answer a conversational dead end, a response that closes a thread instead of opening one. Because when we genuinely like someone, we usually hand them something to grab onto. We extend back. Then it happens again. How long have you been in Austin? 2 years. That's it. No question returned, no thread offered. If you were reading only the words, you'd conclude she wasn't interested and you'd stop trying. And you'd be wrong, because she was smiling continuously. Her torso kept angling toward him. She stayed physically oriented in his direction the entire time. Her words were creating distance. Her body was closing it. That's the signature of this style. Verbal minimalism paired with nonverbal warmth. It isn't a game and it isn't rejection. It's someone genuinely interested and genuinely uncomfortable being the one to escalate. So with this style, you weight behavior over words. 2 indirect signals are worth watching. First, preparation. There's research suggesting that when someone anticipates meeting a person they find attractive, they become more likely to choose red clothing or red accessories. I have to flag this one properly. That research is genuinely contested and some of the original findings failed to replicate. It's one of the most famous results in this field and one of the shakier ones. Notice it, don't rely on it. Second, competition. If someone starts perceiving another person as a romantic rival, mild criticism or subtle coolness toward that person can surface. So if her demeanor shifts when you spend time with another woman or merely mention one, that shift may be information. But use judgment, because some people are simply protective of friends, some have been hurt before, and a man who interprets every reaction as jealousy will read signals into thin air constantly. The fourth style is playful flirting, and it has the cleanest logic of the 5. Think back to childhood. We teased the people we felt safe with, offering something and pulling it away. Small deliberate mischief just to watch the reaction. We never did that with people we feared, and never with people we actively disliked. Teasing requires safety on both sides, so teasing is a quiet declaration of trust. It says, I feel comfortable enough with you to poke at you. I trust you not to take it badly. Which is why playful teasing so often accompanies genuine interest. But there's a second layer where men most often lose the thread. Teasing frequently functions as a small, unplanned test, not of your worth, but of your emotional steadiness. She's watching how you handle it. Do you tighten up, take a joke as an attack, or stay relaxed, meet it, and send something light back? Handled well, the fastest attraction builder of any signal here, because it demonstrates something no compliment can, that you're secure enough not to need constant reassurance. Handled badly, with defensiveness or sulking or over-explaining, kills the moment instantly, and she'll usually stop trying rather than explain what went wrong. One caution though, because this cuts both ways. Playful teasing is warm and mutual, and if something feels genuinely cutting, repeatedly targets a real insecurity, or leaves you feeling smaller afterward, that isn't flirting, and she's just testing you, is not a good reason to tolerate it. Playfulness that only flows one direction isn't playfulness. The fifth style is traditional flirting, the simplest to describe and the easiest to miss entirely. Some people believe the man should initiate, so they'll wait. They won't state interest directly, but they'll leave a trail of small openings. A lingering goodbye, a mention of something they've been wanting to try, a conversation that keeps not quite ending, so you understand the next move belongs to you. They want you to open the conversation, suggest the meeting, choose the place, carry the structure of the interaction. And here's the observable part. When you do step forward with genuine confidence, their behavior visibly changes. They relax. The smiles come more easily. The warmth increases noticeably. Because what they were waiting for wasn't your attention. It was evidence that you could take responsibility for a situation without needing to be led through it. What she's reading isn't just attraction, whether you have direction, composure, and the willingness to actually decide something. Now here's what makes all of this usable instead of dangerous. No single signal means anything. Not one, not the smile, not the tilt, not the red dress, not the tease. People smile because they're friendly, people lean in because the room is loud, and someone can display 4 signals from this video and simply be a warm person having a decent evening. Look for clusters over time, not moments. Most of this research is also softer than the internet claims. Small samples, mostly Western university students, and a replication crisis that has hit this field harder than most. I've flagged the weak ones as we went, rather than presenting everything with equal confidence. Because a video that makes you feel certain while making you less accurate is a bad trade. And here's the thing that ruins men who study this material. They stop having conversations and start running analysis, sitting across from someone decoding hand position instead of listening. It makes you strange to be around, and here's the irony, destroys the exact relaxed presence that every one of these 5 styles is actually responding to. Use this to notice more, not to calculate. The best possible outcome isn't that you can decode women, that you stop assuming disinterest so quickly, and stop walking away from people who were signaling in a language you hadn't learned yet. And the simplest tool is still the best one. If you're genuinely unsure whether someone's interested, ask them out clearly and respectfully. One direct question resolves more than 100 hours of signal analysis. If the answer is no, you've saved months. And if it's yes, you never needed any of this. So 5 styles: physical, sincere, polite, playful, traditional. Most men only know how to read one, usually the most obvious and least common one, which means they spend years believing nobody was interested, while surrounded by signals in 4 other dialects. You now know all 5. Doesn't make you a mind reader. It makes you someone who pays closer attention and jumps to conclusions more slowly, which is worth considerably more. So tell me below, which of the 5 is your own style? Most people recognize themselves immediately, and it's usually not the one they'd expect. And be honest, have you ever completely missed someone's interest and only realized much later? Write it in the comments, because somebody reading it will recognize themselves. If this changed how you'll pay attention, hit like and subscribe if you want more on psychology, human behavior, and the real research behind how people connect, not the recycled version. See you in the next one.